Good morning, everyone. We'll just give it a couple of minutes for some other people to join, and then we'll crack on. So feel free to sit back, make a cup of tea quickly, or get a glass of water or whatnot, and then we'll crack on from there if that's okay. Okay, everyone. Thanks for joining. So what we'll do, I know it's three or 4 minutes past 11, and I appreciate everyone's got busy mornings and whatnot. So if it's okay with everyone else, we'll crack on because we've got lots to go through, and we're really excited to be joined by one of our fantastic partners to talk about all things about us and them and everything else on there. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear and see that. So. First and foremost, thanks very much for joining this morning. My name is Ryan Smith. I'm the head of sales here at BPN. And like I've said already, it's fantastic to have you all join us this morning, and which will hopefully be a really exciting morning for you. And you can get some great information about what's coming up in the future, how things are at the moment, and go from there. This is our second employer-based webinar. So it's fantastic that you joined us again, and thank you again from that. So just to make you aware, some bit of housekeeping side of things. This webinar will be recorded and we'll be sending out after this for you. So if you don't get a chance to watch it all, you can just drop off or anything like that, or there might be something that's come up in question during the webinar itself, you can watch the recording at your own leisure as well. So without further ado, let me go through what's to come. And can I just make sure, just with a quick thumbs up from people, if you don't mind, that you can all see my screen, if that's okay. Fantastic. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you very much, Amy. Lovely. So you might see on the actual Zoom bar itself, you've got a chat function there. If any questions come up throughout the webinar, that might be before the Q&A section at the end, please feel free to put them in there. We can answer them real time, or we can save them for the Q&A as well. That's not a problem at all. So like I said, thanks again for joining us today. It's been fantastic to have you join us, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy mornings to come in and see what's going on in our world and in yours as well, and how we can hopefully build that partnership and growth together as well. So today we'll talk about how our programs and progression pathways build future leaders, how our recruitment and placement support connects you with the right talent, and how our partnership and loyalty program gives you a bit more support as you grow. And I'll come on to that as well, which is hopefully some really exciting news for everybody on board. Hi Jane, yeah. So there is a recording of the first webinar, and I'll get that sent out to you after this as well for you. So not a problem at all. So what you'll hear from today, you'll hear from myself for a little bit. Then we'll go on to Eve, and Eve is our partnerships team. She's fantastic at her job, and she'll talk to you all about the programs and how we can pathway people up. Then you'll hear from Jess as well, who's our recruitment manager here at BPN. Talk about all the fantastic things we can do with your recruitment needs, and also for unplaced candidates as well that might be looking to get into early years care, and how we can help you fill those vacancy voids as well. Then you'll come back to me, how lucky you are to talk about some really exciting partnership programs that we've got coming up. And then, like I said right at the start, we're really lucky today to be joined by Sophie Hayter from Kido, to talk with Eve about all things about BPN, about what's going on in their world, what the challenges they might face, and really how we help them grow and develop from a day-to-day basis, really. So who we are, hopefully you know who we are already because that's why you've joined us. But if you don't, here's just a bit of information about us. What's really different with us that separates across from other training providers is that we are a training partner. We're not just a provider. We like to grow with you and do things that we can to help you grow. We appreciate how hard the job is and how stressful it can be, not just from a day-to-day perspective, but from an overall perspective as well. And for us, it's really important that we show that partnership mentality and that flexibility to what we do, which is why we've got some fantastic programs coming up, and also already launched at the same time. And the support that we give to both the learner and yourselves as the employer is really important for us. So I'm really excited to pass over to Eve, who's going to talk to you all about our programs and progressions perspective. Like I said, any questions you might have, please feel free to put them into the chat box. But apart from that, Eve, you let me know when you want me to change slides, and I'll change them for you.
Perfect. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, do you want to start on the next one? So at Best, I didn't even say it right then. So at Best Practice Network, we are really proud to be offering a full kind of range of different training programs and apprenticeships for everybody within the early years sector. So we've got apprenticeships from level 2 to level 5. We also work with the University of Nottingham at the moment to offer a degree top up for anybody looking to complete their initial teacher training in early years. So once you kind of get that degree top up, you come back to us and then you do your EYITT with us. We have recently just launched some bespoke programs as well, which is really exciting. So for the early years level 3, we've just added a Thrive element to it. And then we've also got the coaching in early years level 5. And then we've also just recently launched the early years senior leader apprenticeship for level 7. So I'll go into a bit more detail on those apprenticeships on the next slide. And then we're also really proud to be working with the DFE to offer that EY Senko level 3 program. So yeah, if you want to switch over to the next slide, Ryan. So this is kind of a better overview of the actual programs that we offer. So this kind of graph kind of shows kind of who they're ideal for, the duration of the program, and then the funding as well. So for all of our apprenticeships, you are able to use your apprenticeship levy. My slides just went blank.
Looks like Ryan's having some issues.
Oh no. So I'll just answer Amy's question while we wait for Ryan to come back. So what qualifications do you need for the EYITT? So it is a little bit different from the apprenticeships because you are going to need a degree in order to get this qualification. But it is fully funded by the DFE. So it's a free course for you to do if you do have that degree. You are also going to need your English, Maths and Science GCSEs, C grade and above. But if you don't have those, then we can help support you with kind of equivalency testing as well. Is Ryan back? Yeah.
I am very sorry, everyone. For some reason, my laptop seemed to crash halfway through, which is a fantastic thing to happen during a webinar.
Everybody has tech issues, is fine.
Oh, what a joy. I apologize.
Thanks, Ryan. So yeah, this is, like I said, a bit of an overview of all the different apprenticeships that we have. So we offer the level 2 early years practitioner. So this one is more for kind of new starters who are kind of looking to start their career in the early years. And that program is for 12 months. And then we've got the early years educator level 3. And that's one that I've said that we've just made kind of bespoke. So we have worked with our sister company Thrive to add kind of wellbeing activities included in that. It's the same duration, it's the same cost. They'll just complete wellbeing activities, which are included kind of in the modules that they already complete. And one of the good things about it is that these activities get included in their off-the-job hours. So actually, it's kind of just 8 hours of off-the-job hours that you as managers don't have to think about covering. So that's really good. And then we've got the level 5 lead practitioner. So this one is more for kind of your room leaders and your managers. And that really looks at kind of the management within early years. And then the level 5 coaching early years, that's another one that we've made or we've launched recently. It's bespoke to Best Practice Network. And we've taken the kind of really popular coaching apprenticeship and we've made it kind of all about early years. You still get your ILM level 5 certificate, which is really great. And that's a bit of a shorter program as well. So it's kind of like 10 months in total once you do your 9 months on program and then your 1 month endpoint assessment. And then the early years initial teacher training, I know I've kind of briefly discussed that already. That one is slightly different because, like I said before, you do need the degree in order to qualify for that one. But it is a really lovely program. It's fully funded by the DFE, and then you get your early years teacher status in that as well. And then the level 7 earlier senior leader, this is the one that we've launched actually this week. And that's for managers who are really interested in kind of getting them going through the master's route. We do say that you don't need a degree in actually to apply for this, but we do ask that you have 2 years experience in leadership in early years. And the really lovely thing about that is that once you've completed this, you can choose to complete a 60 credit dissertation module with the University of Chester, and that will lead to a full MA in educational leadership. So it's an amazing program. And just to note as well, it is just for one intake, which will be launching in November. So if you do have anybody interested, I would encourage you to apply early for that one. And then next slide, Ryan. So supporting every learner to succeed. So within the apprenticeships, we've got dedicated tutors guiding our learners. They do see their tutors face-to-face every 4 to 6 weeks. They also have online sessions with them, and they'll have their contact details as well. So if there's any time in between that they're struggling or they need any extra support with, they will be there on hand to support with them. They've got tailored learning and wellbeing support. And we also offer the 24/7 access to our BPM Boost podcast and resources. For anybody who requires additional learning support, we have things in place for that as well, and you're able to have your one-on-one tutor support where needed. And the really good thing about best practice is that we do have national tutor network, so we have tutors kind of all over the UK that are able to kind of support with your nursery settings. And something that we're really proud of is that we've got 98.1% apprenticeship pass rate. And then the stronger learners and stronger settings. So this just kind of goes into a bit more of kind of the benefits from the apprenticeship. So it offers clearer routes, helping to keep people motivated and reduce your staff turnover. Learners are able to apply new knowledge in practice from day one, stronger staff to child ratios and higher quality of provisions, time saved on recruitment and inductions, leadership pipeline built from within, and then better outcomes for children and families. So there is lots of great benefits about the apprenticeships and the training programs that we do offer.
Thanks, Eve. That's really, really helpful. Thank you very much for that.
Perfect.
Again, everyone, I really apologise for my my wonderful technical difficulties, but hopefully I'm back up and running, and you've all seen the last couple of slides. We've got some fantastic questions in there, which is great. So we'll go through them at the end if that's okay. So I'll keep hold of them, and I'll be really happy to pass over to my colleague Jess if that's okay.
Thanks, Ryan. Yep, happy for the first slide. So hi everyone, I'm Jess. I'm recruitment manager here at Best Practice Network, and I look after a wonderful team that can support recruiting apprentices into any apprenticeship vacancies that you guys might have. Our goal here at Best Practice is to make, well, the recruitment element of Best Practice is making staffing easier, faster, and more efficient for our partners. So we're not like a typical recruitment company. We don't recruit just anybody into your vacancies. We do only recruit apprentices. So if you do have any vacancies that might be suitable for an apprentice, we can definitely help. We are completely nationwide. So as Eve said, we've got tutors around the country. So whereas my team are based in Bristol, our head office, we do support nurseries and settings all around the country, which is really, really exciting. The way that I'll go into in the next slide, the process for recruitment, but we only send people across that are pre-screened. So all the CVs and candidates that you receive will already be pre-screened as well. And we all, sorry, Ryan, you did just jump ahead, but that's okay. And there's no cost to your setting. So again, like a recruitment agency, they would charge you for anybody that they find for you. There actually isn't any cost when you use our service. All we ask is that the apprentice that we place with you is put onto the program here at Best Practice. And we take into consideration your setting size and the culture, and that we try and match the candidates to you as much as we can. And that happens during sort of that screening period that we go through with them. Lovely. Thanks, Ryan. So how can we support you? We can take all the hard work away from you. Recruitment is such a tedious task, especially when you're running an early years setting. You might need to be in numbers, you might not have full capacity. So we can take away all that really hard work. So first of all, we advertise. So we contact, or you contact us with a vacancy, you give us all the details, we go away and advertise that for you. So we advertise on a range of job boards. We've got our own website, we use government job boards, we use job boards such as Indeed, Total Jobs, all the really big ones that are extremely popular. Like I mentioned before, we screen those candidates. So we ensure that they're eligible for an apprenticeship, make sure that they haven't just applied for an early years apprenticeship because they think it's going to be easy. We do talk them through what is involved day to day. Yeah, we make sure that this is the right role for them. Once we've sort of shortlisted after our screening, we send that across to you as the employer. So we send the CV and a little brief about the candidate. If that's somebody you'd like to interview, we do recommend sort of interviewing a few people per role. We send them across, you come back to us to say, yeah, would love to interview these 4 people. And between us, we would arrange those interviews. So whether you give us dates or whether you'd like to sort of arrange those interviews themselves, that is completely up to you. If you then feedback whether successful or not. If successful, we then go on to enrol the apprentice. It gets passed across to our wonderful enrolments team, and they proceed with the enrolment there as well. Thanks, Ryan. So ensuring that we've got the right match for everyone. So we don't just recruit. Now you're probably thinking, well, you're a recruitment team, how can you not just recruit? So half of our workload are vacancies that employers like yourselves, partners, have come to us and said, we've got X amount of positions, can you help us fill them? Perfect, absolutely. Now on the other side of that, what we've got is what we call our unplaced learners. So on our website, candidates are able to apply without an employer. So we've got a massive database of candidates sat waiting for a job. So when your vacancy comes through to us, the first thing that we do, apart from advertise, we look into this pool of candidates to see if we've got anybody in your local area that would be suitable. And we also do reach out to settings to see if they would take on candidates that we might have in their local area as well. So we try our best to match candidates to the vacancies that we've got, but also to find employment for candidates that haven't secured employment yet. So yeah, we've got a very busy, it's a very busy team that we have. We're always looking for new vacancies, always looking to help. So if you do have any vacancies that you might feel would be suitable for an apprentice and would like some support in sort of filling those vacancies, please don't hesitate to get in touch.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, Jess. Again, I think we've got some questions there, but like I said, if it's okay, we'll go through them at the end. And luckily, Stephen's been jumping on them whilst we've been talking through as well, which is fantastic. So I mentioned right at the start that we're a partner, we're a training partner, not a provider. And you might say, well, that's easy and that's just words, but how do we do that? And I'm really excited to share with you. So this is just about to come out for us. So we've been working really tiresome in the background on putting this together. And for us, it's about looking at partnerships right across the board, regardless of the size of the setting or the employer, but also to help you grow and develop, and also give that unconditional support to yourselves, but also the learners as well, and obviously the young people that you're looking after at the same time. So like I said, I'm really happy and excited to share this information with you, that we'll be very shortly launching our new partner loyalty program. And I'll go through in the next couple of slides exactly what that'll look like and how that will help not only yourselves, but the whole environment that you're working in the industry, about how we can really help that element grow with yourselves. We've already covered the best parts of programs from Eve. Jess and our recruitment team have already discussed about what they do and how they add into that. And for us, it's all about that overall growth. So we've spoken a lot about growth already so far. But for us, the reason why we've really created the partner program is to give yourselves as partners that support, that growth journey, just like we do with our learners, really. So we know that from a learner perspective, we give that unconditional support, that flexible support and approach of where we can ever help to make sure that they're having a great time on program, but also coming through the end and getting qualified and get recognition for what they're doing. We want to do the same thing for yourselves at the same time. So we want to make sure that every setting receives the right level of attention, resource, and guidance. Not just the big national chains and whatnot, but the independents as well, because you're all important. You all play a really important part in the day-to-day role of what you guys do. For us, it allows us to really establish that long-term collaboration piece, not just from the program perspective, but from a recruitment perspective, from training and overall quality as well. And for us, it's about creating that bar really of what good looks like and how we can celebrate and grow things together. And again, it's about that celebration piece, about us celebrating for what partner tier you become in, and then looking at the growth plans for that as well. So here's a little insight. And again, this is an insight into what's to come. So we've come up with 4 partner tiers, and we've gone nice and standard from a bronze, silver, gold, and platinum perspective. And really, this is how we want to look at supporting yourselves as an employer. Like I said already, we give that support to the learners day in, day out, but we also recognise that the employer needs that support as well. And so the guys in my team and the partnerships team that he was part of really play a pivotal part in that. And it becomes that whole 360 piece, which we already know we do really, really well, but it's about involving that into the next tier and allowing some additional growth in with that as well. So you can see there from every setting and employer that comes on board with us and puts one person on program, they automatically become a bronze partner, and you get a nice digital recognition pack with that. Gives you some nice social media aspects of things where you can post online as well. You'll get a bronze BPM partnership badge with that at the same time, which you can stick on your website if you so please. And then what we want to try and do and aim with that is that when you're posting that on social media, we can then share that. We can celebrate yourselves on that as well, because we're all about that growth piece that goes with that. You can see as you go through the tiers, it depends on how many apprentices you have with us, or enrollments, etc. And then the perks and benefits and privileges come with that as well. The really important part to this is that you have that single point of contact from a day-to-day perspective. We know that in the business we've got lots of different teams and they all help each other, but it's really important that we all work together and you have that point of contact where you can pick up the phone and you can say, I need this happening, I need a bit of support with this, and we can be there to be that support at the same time. So you might ask, how do you join? And again, it's simple. So just by simply start by putting someone on program with us, or getting us to fill one of your recruitment vacancies, which Jess and her team do so fantastically well. We can grow more through the learners and planning calls, engagement calls with yourself. For me and for the rest of our teams, it's really important that we look at how we can support you, not just from today, but from 12 months, 24 months, 36 months down the line. It's about that continuation and growth. And as we grow and develop with you, we can look at those strategic endpoints as well, about how we can maybe look at what's coming down the road within the changes with the DFE and how things the industry are changing and stuff like that. So it's really important that we look at that at the same time for you. So you're a bit exclusive there. That's a bit of a sneak peek into our partnership loyalty program, which will be launched very, very shortly. And once it's done, you'll get notified of what tier you fit in, and we can go through on how we can help you grow through the tiers, and get more support as you grow and develop, which is hopefully something that's really exciting to look at. And again, I can see we've got a couple of questions there. So I know Stephen's having a look at those for me, but we'll come back to a lot of them at the end if that's okay, and then I can catch up with things there for you as well. So without further ado, I'm really excited to welcome Sophie from Kido for us. Her and Eve are going to go through a bit of a spotlight of why Sophie and Kido decide to use us and work with us. They're one of our platinum partners. They want to share experiences of how the partnership has grown and developed, and what the challenges they face on a daily basis. So Sophie and Eve, I'm going to let you both do some talking now if that's okay, and put myself on mute.
Amazing. Thanks, Ryan. Hi, Sophie. Thank you so much
Hi,
for joining. Yeah, we do
no
really
worries.
appreciate you taking your time out of your day. Let's just jump straight into the questions, shall we? So, can you just introduce
Okay.
yourself? Tell us a bit more about your background in early years, and your current role.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, my name is Sophie Hayter. I am the qualification lead at Kido Nurseries. We are a group of 19 nurseries, predominantly based in London. I have been in early years 34 years. Yeah, I did my NNEB at 16. I worked in nurseries and then I moved into sort of training and apprenticeships just over 20 years ago. So I've worked for a college, I've worked for training providers, and now I guess you could say I've come full circle because I've gone back to nurseries in sort of employer role, where I am able to use both my passions, which is early years and apprenticeships.
Amazing. Thank you. And what would you say the benefits of apprenticeships are? Can you talk us through how they support your nurseries?
Yeah, I mean, they really do help us kind of build a really cost-effective workforce. And they enable us to bring in sort of new talent, that, you know, people that might never have worked in nurseries before, but have got that natural ability and that natural talent to do the role. I say it's cost effective, because obviously you can bring your apprentices in on the apprentice wage. Caveat to that, I would say, is if you can pay a little bit more than the apprentice wage, you do get more applicants and you probably get a high quality applicant. We pay just over £9 an hour, so it's more than the apprentice wage, but a little bit lower than national minimum wage. I mean, if your apprentice is under 21, I think that's above their national minimum wage anyway. So yeah, so why it's really cost effective, I would think about what you can actually afford to pay. Like I say, you're bringing in new talent. That talent then, once they're on their apprenticeship, are learning sort of all the new ways of working. You know, your training provider will be teaching them, you know, current statutory requirements, current theorists, and so by having those staff members that are learning the most up-to-date things that perhaps your more experienced staff don't have, because it's been a while since they were in training, they qualified, they kind of complement each other, I think. So that's another great benefit. We have found as well that our apprentices almost always all stay with us once they complete. So, you know, they've had a really high quality training experience with both us and BPN, which means actually that they want to stay, and then they move into our qualified vacancies. So we then don't have to then recruit for qualified, because, you know, we've already grown our own. And I think that gives our workforce quite a lot of stability as well.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing. Thank you. And how does Kido support apprentices in your nurseries to ensure that they have everything they need really to complete the apprenticeship? So things kind of like off the job training, like what really works well with your nurseries?
So we want to make sure that our apprentices don't just get through an apprenticeship. We want to make sure that they thrive and that they are given the most support. So one thing that we do is have a dedicated mentor in every one of our nurseries. So those dedicated mentors are there for those apprentices. They have, you know, regular meetings with the apprentices. They review their progress on their apprenticeship. They talk to them about what off the job they've been doing, what they could be doing. They listen to them when they're, you know, stressed or have got other things going on. I guess so our mentors become sort of counsellors sometimes as well. And what we are doing as well is we're putting a lot of our mentors on the level 5 coaching apprenticeship that you're now offering. So we feel that actually that will even improve that mentor-mentee relationship even more, because those mentors will be getting those additional coaching skills. I think having mentors is the key to a successful apprenticeship. And where we've had apprentices drop out, it's been where either the mentor's left and we haven't replaced them, or maybe the mentor hasn't been as strong as some other mentors in other nurseries. So yeah, strong mentor is essential. We map all of our internal training into the apprenticeship for off-the-job learning. So if the apprentices are doing safeguarding with BPN, we have certain safeguarding courses that we do in our internal academy. So we would say to the apprentice, okay, so while you're doing safeguarding, also, you know, we'll give you the opportunity to do these courses, because that goes down to off the job, and it's meaningful because then the off the job training matches what they're learning on the apprenticeship. We also support the apprentices by, like I say, with the mentor or the manager going through all the other off the job things that they could be doing, and stressing the fact that actually off the job can happen in the room. If you are learning new knowledge and skills behaviours. So, you know, if they are learning about children's diets and allergy requirements, etc., we would then say to the apprentice, okay, so you've learned about all those children's allergies, you've learned about diets considered, you know, for religious purposes, etc. That is now off the job. You know, that is linked to the health and wellbeing module, for instance. Okay, we've just been through teaching you how to carry out observations and where you upload them on the family app. That is off the job. That's linked, you know, with the associated module. So really helping those apprentices to sort of see what off the job actually looks like, because it's not just sat behind a computer all day. You know, it can be things that they're doing on the job, if you like, if it's the development of new knowledge, skills and behaviours.
Amazing. Yeah, and I think especially everything you said about the mentor, I think having somebody within the nursery that can support the apprentice kind of really does make a difference to their journey. So yeah, amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you share kind of a success story where an apprentice has really made a difference in your nurseries? I know we've probably got so many that you could choose from,
Gosh.
but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've been really lucky that all of our apprentices have passed EPA. We very rarely get any retakes either. And I would say 90% of our apprentices come out with a distinction. You know, we really try when when they get to EPA, we know that the tutor is supporting them and doing mock discussions and things with them. But I will also do a mock discussion or a mock observation with them as well in addition, and I will always sit down and look at the distinction criteria with them and say, look, if you want a distinction, you know, these are the things you need to think about. So yeah, so the fact that about 90% get a distinction, I think, is a real positive. We've also this year had this year, all our completed apprenticeships have all moved into qualified roles within our nurseries. We haven't lost any. And 4 or 5 of those completions this year, they've been promoted to room leader as soon as their apprenticeship has completed. I'd say those 4 or 5 probably came to us with a little bit of experience. But, you know, they have demonstrated, you know, really good high quality skills during their apprenticeship, and, you know, including leadership skills. So, you know, that's why they've been promoted straight away. So that is a real success story for us, I think. And, you know, and the fact that we're able to employ them at the end. You know, I know that sometimes that's not possible, especially with smaller providers, but for us, you know, we've brought them in, we've given them the support, we've invested in them. So the last thing we want to do is let them go. So you know, they do all move into a qualified role.
Amazing. I'm going to move on to some kind of recruitment-based questions. I feel like you probably have kind of answered this one already, just talking about kind of the retentions and stuff within your nurseries. But how have the apprenticeships helped your nurseries with recruitment and the staffing challenges?
So all of our unqualified vacancies are filled by an apprentice. We don't really have anyone that comes in an unqualified role and then doesn't go on to study. So yeah, so they fill all of our unqualified roles. We now have that flexibility thanks to the EYFS that an unqualified level 3 apprentice can also be then counted as a level 2 in ratio once they have PFA and once they are deemed qualified. Now, we are not abusing this fact. You know, we're not bringing a level 3 apprentice, putting them on their first aid and making them level 2 in day 1 or month 1. We have a competency checklist of internal courses that they have to do, things that they have to be observed doing, etc., before we sign them off. I mean, on average, I think most level 3 apprentices are signed off as level 2 in ratio at about month 6. So you're looking at almost halfway through their apprenticeship. So, you know, that has really helped, because then, you know, as a percentage of our apprenticeships are filling in all our unqualified gaps, then a percentage of our apprentices are also filling in those level 2 spaces as well within each room. Yeah, so yeah, I think without apprenticeships, we wouldn't be able to grow our qualified team as quickly as we do. You know, we all know there's not enough qualified people to go around. So, you know, in order for us to grow, because we are growing, you know, we will be opening more nurseries, you know, we need to have that pipeline of apprentices coming through.
Yeah, amazing. And what are the benefits of using best practice apprenticeship recruitment team to support with your staffing?
Well, they do all the eligibility checks for us. So, you know, checking whether they've got the right to work in the UK. They do their initial assessments to make sure that if they're not exempt from their maths and English, that they are going to be able to achieve them whilst on programme. So that means that when the apprentice then comes to us for interview, we know they've been screened, we know they're eligible for the programme. And so then it's just down to our managers deciding on whether that applicant is a good fit. If we didn't use BPN recruitment, we'd have to do all those eligibility checks ourselves, which obviously would put more burden on our own internal recruitment team, who are already busy doing the recruitment of our qualified staff and having to work out whether qualifications are full and relevant and everything that goes with recruiting qualified. So the fact that BPN can do, you know, lots of the background checks and things for us really helps.
Amazing, thank you. And what kind of support from us has been the most valuable for you as a partner?
Well, when you say partner, I mean, that is so true. I see you as my partner. You're not, the trade provider that we happen to use. We really, really do work in partnership together. You and I have our monthly meetings, which is so valuable. And we have the London operations manager that joins us on those meetings. And we literally go through our every apprentice, don't we? One by one. You know, where are they? Are they working, you know, within their expected progression? You know, are they actually, you know, who are the ones that are going above and beyond? Who are the ones we should be looking out for future room leaders? You know, and who are the ones that are struggling? You know, who are falling behind? What can we do? You know, what can you say? You know, what can we do for that person? And then, you know, and what can we do as an employer? How can we work together to, you know, to support that learner and bring them up to speed? I mean, recently we've had a couple of apprentices who have really, really struggled. And I think if we hadn't had that close partnership, they wouldn't have got to EPA like they have. Actually, I should have mentioned one of them in our success stories, actually. But yeah, we wouldn't have got them to the end if we hadn't worked so closely together. You know, I also feel that I'm able to contact you at any time. You know, I don't have to wait just to our meetings. And also I know that, you know, if you're not around or I want a really quick answer, I know that I can go straight to a trainer. The trainer's always very, very helpful and will always reply to me if it's something that's like a quick fix. So yeah, and if we didn't do that and we didn't work so closely together, we wouldn't have such high retention rates and such high achievement rates. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. And what advice would you give nursery managers who are considering apprenticeships but aren't quite sure where to start?
So I would definitely say choose a training provider that aligns with your values. One of the reasons I believe BPN is one of the, and a provider of choice for early years settings is the fact that you are early years and education experts, as in those are the only apprenticeships you do. You stick to what you know and what you're good at, which is early years, teaching assistants, EYITT. The problem with some of the other providers, the bigger providers, are that they've wear themselves a bit thin. So you get providers out there, yes, they do early years, but they also do health and social care, business, construction, all different areas. And I honestly believe, having been in this business for a long, long time, that those providers are in danger of watering down what they can offer because they are across so many sectors. So, my advice would be to choose a provider, ideally BPN or another provider that just focuses on early years for a start, because their values are much more likely to align with yours. Also, if you are a small provider that doesn't pay the levy, and you do pay the 5%, I'd also recommend looking into levy transfer. So if you've got a digital apprenticeship account, you can go on there and see big levy paying companies that can't use their levy, that are willing to then give it to you. You only have to fill in a form. It's really, really easy. And quite often these big levy companies will want to fund early years because they know we're so underfunded and we're so valuable to society. In my last role, I think I got about £1 million worth of levy transfer funding. So it really is easy. And if you can get that, it means that organisation pays 100% of your costs, so you don't even have to pay that 5% contribution. So yeah, my big tip is have a look at levy transfer funding, as well as working with BPN.
Thanks, Sophie. Those were all my questions. But yeah, thank you so much for joining. I think the session's just been really insightful, and yeah, you've been amazing. So thank you.
No worries. I think somebody in the chat asked for my email address, so I'm quite happy to do that. If you want to connect, I'll put it in the chat now.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Sophie. Thanks, Eve. And Sophie, again, thanks for taking your time out this morning. I really appreciate it for talking more about what goes in your world and how the likes of Eve and the rest of the team really support things that you guys do over there. It's really great to hear some of the success stories and also a great top tip on the levy transfers. I think that's something that goes under the radar for a lot of employers and settings because they just don't know it. And then you bang on the money that it's a really easy form to fill out. And we can certainly give guidance on how to do that as well with our internal teams. So I've been getting messages on my other screen next to me here, inundated with questions, which I'm really happy to go through. And it's great to hear the people asking certain things about loads of other programs and stuff. I can see that people have already picked up on Eve talking about our level 7 senior leadership program coming up, which is, shall I say, really going through the turnstiles as it is. So certainly I can see Claire's asked about that as well. I've been asked. Claire, so you mentioned about one of your managers that's got a level 4 wants to go straight into level 7. Let's definitely have a conversation about that. I think it's really important that we can try and connect maybe after this, if not myself or one of the guys in my team can have a conversation with you about that. And certainly I think there's things that we can do there. The beauty of that is that we, like you've already seen, we've got a full array of programs that are there that can offer some help. And we can look at the best things forward there, which is really good. Also, thank you to my wonderful assistant, Stephen, who's been helping in the background with answering some questions and whatnot. Let's just go through some of the things here. Sophie, thanks for sharing your email address there as well for us. Thank you. Amy, fantastic. You've got 7 apprentices that are on roll and another 8 lined up. That's fantastic. So the closing date for applications for level 7 is the 26th of this month. So only a couple of weeks away. But what I can do is obviously there'll be a follow-up after this from our team, and we'll make sure the application link is in there for you all. And obviously what we'll do, any particular questions in direct, I'll make sure that my contact details are shared on the follow-up as well, and the rest of my team, and feel free to either book in a call with them, or I can take some details from this as well, and we can get some calls on the back end of that. Let's just go through some other questions if that's okay. The loyalty program looks fantastic. Yep, I couldn't agree more. It's a massive passion of mine. To give you a bit of background from where it's sort of birthed from, I've come from an industry which isn't education apprenticeships, but it's something which is really heavily in my old world before I was with BPN, and it's something that I know is really important for us to take that next step really, and like I've said right at the beginning, is to help you guys grow it, and within partnership with yourselves. Do you get a trophy? There may well be one there. I'm sure we can work something out. That's not a problem at all. Loads of questions about the level 7, and like I said, what we can do is we can follow up with that. And what's really handy with the level 7 program in particular, so some dates for your diary as such really. So we've got another webinar for early years apprenticeships and apprentices on the 14th of October, so next Tuesday, and then also on the following Thursday, so the 16th of October, we've got our senior leadership level 7 early years apprenticeship webinar as well. So there'll be links on the follow-up email that'll go out this afternoon on that. So please feel free to register on that one. But likewise, we're more than happy to get on a call and get things moving if you've got people that want to get on program, because the program itself is really hitting up hard, which is really nice to see, and loads of people are really interested in it. So there's a wealth of interest there. I think it's really good for settings and employers and people that work within them that want to take that next step in development as well. So that continuous professional development at the same time, which is really important. Do we have any more questions of sorts that I've not sort of glazed over? Like I said, the recording for the webinar will be sent out after this, and of course we'll then follow up with the questions, etc., from there as well.
Just from me, Ryan. Claire, you mentioned about needing some recruitment support, so I've popped the link in there for hiring an apprentice. Sorry. So if there is anybody that would like some recruitment help, please fill out the form. The link takes you to our website. Scroll down, there's a very quick, easy form for you to complete. And then my team will be in touch to get the further details from you.
There was also a question in there as well, just about on recruitment costs. So the recruitment cost is 0 for you. So Jess and her team will work with you on vacancies that you have. Like she's already mentioned, we've got a really nice talent pool of people that want to get into early years, and we can make sure that they can be placed within you if they're in the right location for you. It's fantastic that we can get people to apply that want to go into that profession without having a role to go into, and that's where the relationship and the partnership comes in play, where we can help fill those vacancies. So Jesse's already said that. Sophie really elegantly placed it in position as well. So it's no cost to yourselves, which I think is a fantastic thing, because not only does it take loads and loads of time, but it can also cost an absolute fortune going through agencies and whatnot to get your vacancies out there and get them to do the work for you at the same time. So yeah, any recruitment inquiries and whatnot, please feel free to connect with Jess. Jess and her team will be more than happy to set up a call and go through how they can help and what vacancies you might have, and all those good things that go in between. So Jess, that's all right. Claire's got the link now. That's fantastic. So yeah, there's a link there, and obviously after this, if everyone wants to connect with either Jess or myself or the rest of the team, in fact, all of us will be more than happy to help where we can. So unless anyone's got any more questions, I think you can all have 9 minutes back of your day, which is probably really warranted in the world that you guys live in. For myself and the rest of the team, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy morning to jump on the webinar with us. Hopefully what we've gone through is really informative, and really exciting to see what's coming down the line with us. And it's for us internally and externally, it's really exciting to launch our partnership program, talk about some of our fantastic programs, like our coaching program, which has already been mentioned in early years, our senior leadership level 7 program, which is, like I said, really of a heightened interest, but also the rest of the programs as well. So EYITT, level 2, 3, and 5 are really important as well. So I really look forward to catching up with all of you after this. Please feel free to reach out to any of us. We're all more than willing to help where we can. Apart from that, thanks very much. I really appreciate your time. Thanks to Sophie for taking time out of her day as well.
No worries. And like I say, anybody wants to contact me, you've got my email now. I'm happy, to help, from an employer's point of view, etc.
Sophie, that's fantastic. I really appreciate you giving me your time as well, because I appreciate how busy you are. But everyone else, thanks very much. Have a fantastic Thursday, and we'll look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.